back to throw. Got him in. Hot! Touchdown, Arizona! He's sacked by Jacob Manu. And it's picked off. Trayton Stukes. Nobody close to Tetaroa McMillan.
Let's go.
Air down, Cats. Our window depot coverage of U of A football begins with Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. The pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're counting down to kick off on Arizona football. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Left in the backfield. Kudo will take the snap, back to throw. Here comes the rush. Goes deep downfield for Hyatt, and he makes the catch inside the 40-yard line. First down, Arizona. Unbelievable. Devin Hyatt, the redshirt freshman out of Bradenton, Florida, with the catch of the night.
What a throw by Fafita under pressure, and what a catch by Devin Hyatt.
Fafita out of the shotgun, takes the snap, straight back to throw. Waiting, rolling to the right now. Looking downfield, throws downfield. He's got a man open. It's hot. Is that good? It is good. Touchdown, Arizona. Oh, my. Again, Fafita buying time, and Kean Burnett gets to the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Arizona.
Oh, man, what a rally that was last Saturday night in Salt Lake City, Utah for the Arizona Wildcats to get the win over the number 10 team in the country, the Utah Utes, their first ever game in the Big 12, and now the Cats are coming home for their first home contest in their new conference, and they'll welcome in a new rival, but an old rival from the Border Conference days, a rivalry that began back in the 1930s, and this will be, I believe, the 34th time we will play the Texas Tech Red Raiders in a college football game. Welcome to the U of A Mall, Arizona Game Day, brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. I'm David Kelly, joined as always by the captain, Kelvin Ifan, class of 1998, the tight end, Glenn Howe, U of A 1985. 8 o'clock kickoff tonight. It's a late one. Big 12 after dark, as we might have to start labeling some of these games. But again, the Wildcats are going to be on national television, West Coast prime time, as we like to say, for this military appreciation night game. And guys, first I'll start there. Did you see the helmets? The new helmets that they're going to be wearing tonight in honor of the military. There's a man with a nice jersey on there representing the Indians. Go Guards! Go Guards! That's right. Beat the Detroit Tigers today. We'll talk a little bit more about that as well. How about the helmets? Block A, ensconced inside of the state of Arizona with the stars and bars behind it for Military Appreciation Night. Now, I know there's a lot of people that don't like chains, that don't like alternative uniforms, but Arizona has traditionally done an alternative outfit for Military Appreciation Night. But these new lids, we did a poll yesterday. 65% of the folks will. I think you can still actually vote on the poll for about maybe another 27 minutes if you want to get over to our Twitter page at Wildcats1290. But your guys' thoughts on the lids?
I'm in 35. I'm in 35%. I don't like them. I don't like them. Stay with what you got. I mean, hey, that's good. Put something on the jersey, on the sleeve or something, Hey, you know what? There's a lot of tradition and everything. I just want to just make one little statement here is that, everybody comes to tailgates. They do a lot of things. They come here and celebrate, have a great time. I had a friend that passed away, my daughter's best friend, Alexis Alfonso, and Rick Alfonso, who was a great Arizona fan. He was a coach. He was a great father, and they're having a memorial today, a tailgate. He's tailgated here for over 25 years, and they're just doing – we're waiting for the second tailgate to come here, and they're going to do they did a memorial, and I just wanted to reach out to the Alfonso family, say that we're missing Rick, and we appreciate Rick, and Rick was always bearing down for us, and my thoughts and prayers go out to the Alfonso family today.
Outstanding, yeah, definitely. Their thoughts are in our prayers. Kelvin, what do you think about those new helmets?
Actually, when there's a purpose behind it,
I understand it a little bit. So I'm cool with it because of this purpose, but doing it just to do it, not so much.
Yeah, it's the third different helmet that we've had this season. We had the Script Cats for the away game at Kansas State, and now the Stars and Bars Block A for Military Appreciation Night here against the Wildcats against the Texas Tech Red Raiders here tonight. Again, 8 o'clock is kickoff here tonight. Let's dive into this game this evening, as well as a review of what happened last Saturday in Salt Lake City.
It's time to take our first look at today's game. Brought to you by the Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindowdepot.com.
Initially, we got a corner route that play. Kind of saw the play break down a little bit. I know it likes to scramble a lot. He ended up throwing a great pass to me. Kind of cut back against the opposite side of the defense and back in the end zone. So, great ball by him.
Your first touchdown as a Wildcat was a pretty significant one. What does that mean to you?
It means everything. I think it's just a testament to my coaches and my team. And like I said, Noah, Vita, and just my family.
Kean Burnett, that was him after his career performance last Saturday night in Salt Lake City. 5 catches, most he's ever had in a game. 76 yards, most he's ever had in a game. Fourth quarter touchdown there to give the Wildcats a little bit of a cushion in their 23-10 win. We talked about it during the week, guys. As incredible as that the catch was, what Kean can do with his hands, the fact that he just is so skilled in getting his feet down, and we've seen it now on all 3 of the big catches that he's made this season. The sideline catch against New Mexico, the sideline catch earlier in that game against Utah, and then the catch in the end zone. It's so critical for wide receivers to know where they are on the field, but I don't know if we necessarily see a lot of tight ends that have that wide receiver ability to know how to get their feet in, the steps they have to chop to make sure that they can make those catches and be in bounds.
Well, I think Kean in high school, he was basically a wide receiver.
Yeah.
So I think he's had a lot of practice doing that. Because in high school, man, he was just all over. He was in the slot. I don't even know if he went down into a 3. I don't even know if he went down into a 3.
Never.
Because I was gonna say, I kind of gave him a little stuff, man. When I first met him, I said, man, you ready to put your hand in the ground? Because he was a slot receiver, man. He was a slot big guy out there running routes and catching balls and I think he's used to that. I mean, that's great that he has that, and now he has a little bit more weight on him, and he's blocking better, and he's playing like a real tight end. I think he's one of our best tight ends in the conference, man. I mean, if we get him going, get him going and let him do what he can do, he has potential. Let me take that back. He has potential to be one of the best tight ends in our conference.
And let's hear from his offensive coordinator, Dino Babers, on really what the keys were to that breakout performance last week.
I think he was healthy. I really do. I mean, we're all KB fans, and he's an exceptional athlete. There's no doubt that he's a very, very talented receiver. What we want him to do is be a very, very talented blocker. I talked to him about Brandon Manimaleunu, who was here the last time I was here, and Brandon had unbelievable hands, and all he wanted to do was split out wide and catch the ball like a wide receiver. I said, Brandon, you can do that, and then you're going to go to the NFL and get cut, or we can teach you how to block, and you may be up there forever. And you can check the record. I think he was up there 10 or 11 years. He might have caught, I don't even know what he caught, like 20 balls. But every one of those years he was making $1 million plus, blocking. So the long game, the long haul, the power of 7, making sure your money doubles. We teach those tight ends how to block, and KB's coming along. But when he gets that down, he'll be the complete guy, and he'll be special because his receiving skills are really good.
Well, he had a few more than 20 catches in his 10-year career, did Brandon Manimaleunu. 115 catches in his career. Best season was 29, but again, 10 years in the league.
Yeah, that's absolutely
10 years
right.
in the league.
Yeah, and my coach used to tell me you got to block first before you see the rock. You know, you got to earn your way to get a pass, and that's what my first thing was. You know, for me, and it should be for all tight ends, is block first. You know, and then you get dessert, and that's the ball thrown to you. So these guys have learned. I think the tight ends in the last couple of years we've seen tight ends that can block. And that is a real good thing, and that's what we need to continue to do. And if we do that, that means that it puts a little pressure on the defense because we don't know that when we put a tight end, we know that he's going in for a pass because we have the pass guy and we have the run guy. And then that throws off your offense a little bit. So you got to have a complete guy that's in there on that stance.
And what I add to that is that, as Coach Babers was saying, availability is your best ability, right? And if you're injured, and a lot of time you worry about those guys, you're transitioning from receiver to tight end, getting a bunch of little nicks and injuries because now they're going up against certified defensive ends now when they were used to going against DBs. So that's where a lot of those injuries come from, is in the blocking that you have to do. But again, him being able to be available because he's got a chance to get healthy over that break. Hopefully that little success makes you play through some injuries because when you play well and you start to catch some balls, so now when you get a little injured, you're like, I can play through that because I know I'm going to get the ball. So I just think that that's going to help him on both ends.
Noah Fifita, you heard the play at the top. That was on a 3rd and 11. It was the second big third down conversion that they had on that drive. In fact, you heard both those plays. The pass to down the field as well was on 3rd and 11, and then the third down play, the touchdown pass to Kean Burnett. Dino Babers spoke this week on Noah's ability to make those big third down passes.
You guys, those were – I don't like to compare people, but it reminded me of Doug Flutie making plays. The one deep ball throw across the middle was amazing. You see that free guy jumping over our tailback and is about to hit his throwing his lead knee, and he sits in there and makes that throw. There's so many guys that would have backed off of that, not used their legs, came out of it, maybe make that ball flutter a little bit and give the DB a chance. He never hesitated for the team to put his knee out there and zip that thing in there. That was a big, big-time throw, NFL. And then coming off the scramble, releasing to the right, getting extremely close to the line of scrimmage, yet knowing exactly where he's at to find KB in the back of the end zone with about, here goes the math part, about 1.5 yards to spare. I mean, that's big-time football.
Indeed, it was. I mean, we talked about it, guys, how critical that pass pro block there came from Quali Conley, just to buy him that extra second that he needed to make that throw down the field. But like Dino said, for him to stand in there too, that shows you the toughness of Noah Fifita for sure.
Yeah, and that takes time. That takes confidence in being in that situation. He's had enough snaps, I think, now that he's confident that he knows that he's gonna get hit a little bit, and to see the way he had good form when he was throwing the ball too. That was the thing, because you had to have a good form to throw that ball, because he came off that when he was running outside and he just fling that thing. I mean, he had good technique. And that's what a great quarterback does. If he relies on his technique and everything, everything is gravy if you have great technique.
And I think when you see that play, that's a second-year guy that understands where everybody is at. You can make that throw and manipulate the defense just because you understand that you have a guy coming over and you're trying to give him time to get there. So if he doesn't catch it, it goes out of bounds. So, the kid's just making a lot of great plays. And the other thing I'll say is that trust in the offensive line to be able to stand in that pocket, and that's the reason why Conley plays a lot and is the starter, because of his ability to block right there. So it's a lot go into it. You have to, as you say, you have to be able to block first before we can give you the rock.
All right, and of course I mentioned this is an 8 o'clock kickoff here tonight at Arizona Stadium. And, we like to categorize it back in the day as Pac-12 After Dark, although not everybody is down with that lingo.
The second time this year that we've, I guess what they used to call the Pac-12 After midnight or whatever it is. It's going to be a late game. We're going to try to break the day up a little bit different than what we have in the past and see if that helps us out. We'll be ready to play, though.
Yeah, it's Joey McGuire, the head coach of the Texas Tech Red Raiders, Pac-12 after midnight or whatever. Yeah, that's
we
not
don't
exactly
like it either.
What we call
it. we don't like it either. So I know we don't like to be playing that late, man. I tell you.
Well, again, it's like he said, they're not sure. They got to figure out what to do all day long. So that gives them one more thing that they got to think about.
Yeah, I don't know what 8 o'clock game, Kelvin. I don't know what. We played like 7s or 6s.
Yeah, 7:30 at the latest.
Yeah, and at 6 o'clock. I mean, that still was a long day, though.
Yeah, man.
All right, that's our first opportunity to dive into the Arizona Wildcats and the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
That's our first look at the game. Brought to you by the Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindow.depot.com. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show, brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Doing things the right way.
All right, straight ahead, we'll get into our offensive scouting report brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Some changes on the offensive side in terms of the play calling last week, and we'll be minus a familiar face as well on the offense. We'll dive into that. In the huddle with Hal, who we got coming up this week?
We got my former teammate, Mike Freeman. Mike Freeman, offensive guard, played 6 years in NFL, played in 2 Super Bowls. Great guy, great player here, second-team All-Pac-10 player here. He was just a good dude and a real. Here's a guy that made the NFL on technique. He's a great technician. Wasn't the biggest guy, and he was just a good football player.
And later, who's coming into the captain's corner?
I have Coach Mark Lunsford. He used to be a player here first.
Quarterback.
Yeah, he used to be a quarterback here.
Recruited me.
And he recruited everybody
Yeah,
I know. Every story you hear about the
Lunsford,
you hear about the cowboy boots. You hear about the cowboy boots, and I remember when he came recruiting me in Texas, even though I was going for basketball, he still came and checked me out, wanted to see who I was. So, yeah, we got Coach Lunsford in here because he was the offensive coach here, my running back coach. I mean, who better to talk to about Arizona football than Coach Lunsford?
All right, and don't forget our best bets will be coming up for you later. Arizona 6.5-point favorite in this one tonight against Texas Tech, but the Red Raiders come in at 4-1, and they have not lost the game yet in the Big 12, 2-0 with home wins over Arizona State and Cincinnati. It's Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day coming to you live from the east side of the U of A Mall near the Paperclip Monument. Stop on by and check us out. We're here till 6:30 with you, and then the network folks will take over from there, getting you set for an 8 o'clock kickoff. Along with Glenn Howe and Kelvin Efon, I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona football is just getting started. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 1 of the pregame show is brought to you by Desert Diamond Casinos, First Chiropractic, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Polson Results Team with Keller Williams, Southern Arizona, the Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com. For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
My drains are clogged again. What should I do? Don't let those clogged drains scare you. Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing has a $79 drain and faucet diagnostic service special. We'll get you back in the flow. Call us at 520-492-0748 or picturoxcooling.com.
Picturox Cooling, Heating and Plumbing.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rocking K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rocking K is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 18 model homes by top-tier builders, offering move-in ready homes and special incentives. LiveRockingK.com. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Come out to Dave & Buster's, the best place outside of the stadium to see the games this football season. Monday and Thursday, get all-you-can-eat wings with game card for $19.99. Sunday, get in on the chance to win a big game watch party at Dave & Buster's in front of the big screen, plus other big prizes and weekly winners. Join them now through October 22nd, all day, every day. They'll be offering $5 22-ounce drafts only at Dave & Buster's. Make Dave & Buster's your place to watch the games.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime.
A pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the tight end, Glenn Howell, and the captain, Kelvin Efon. Here is the Wildcats offensive scouting report for today's game.
He's into the end zone. Touchdown, Arizona.
The offensive scouting report is brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Speedy Luke is checked in as a running back. Noah Fafita will hand it off. Luke left side, got a hole. He's down to the 30, cuts right to the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Arizona. Speedy Luke hits the accelerator.
Man, did he hit the accelerator. It was like he saw that crease in the middle, and he just took off. No one had a chance once he was in the open. That's the play we've been looking for Speedy Luke, and we just got it. That was an explosive play by Speedy Luke.
Yeah, that was last year against Washington State when Speedy Luke scored. Just 4 carries, though, in 4 games through this 2024 season. And this week it was announced that Rayshon Speedy Luke will redshirt this season, his 3rd college season, and he has chosen to redshirt. And that's one of the differences, guys, with college football. right now. I mean, I don't think in either of your days, you could probably count the number of guys on one hand that would redshirt 3 years in.
No, I don't think there's any of them. But this is a different time now. I mean, you get to play 4 games. I mean, I was my first year at U of A. I was backing Mike Freeman and Charlie Dickey, and they wanted to redshirt me, but I was second team. I traveled with the team. I was supposed to be redshirted, and I traveled with the team. And at one point, Mike went down, and the coach was going to put somebody else in, and I was the second team guy. And Coach Barry told me to go in, and Coach Smith put his hand right in front of me and said, "You're not going in." He knew, he was aware of who was redshirting and everything. He goes, "We're going to save him another, we want to save him another year." And then they put in somebody else. They put in David Connor. And David Connor got in, and he was playing ever since. And he played for a couple of games there. And it was just it's different now. You can play 4 games, and this is great I think, for the kids, because then now you can see what kid needs to get developed. And if there's a chance if he can play.
And I think it's actually great for the kid and the university, because sometimes in the university you can play the kid for 4 games, then you can sit them and get them ready for the next year, but with some experience that you can go back and look at the film and show him things that he need to get better at, with the actual film. And also I think it's good for the player, because if there's a situation to where there's guys you're not getting enough playing time, I thought about it. I said I was thinking about it as Speedy Luke transferring. But think about it. It's 2 seniors in front of them. So if they don't recruit guys that are better, or maybe these coaches that are here may say, you know what, I can help develop you. Give me a year, because he's still practicing with the team from everything that I've heard.
Right, yeah.
So it might not be a thing, guaranteed that he's going to transfer. He could get the coaching up, add the weight or whatever that they're trying to do. But right now on this team right here, the guys that they have in front of them are going to get the bulk of the carry. So I think it's smart, and it puts it in his favor, which it should be. Going to college is for experience for the kids as well as for the university.
And just think of this: the coaches can play different guys in groups of guys, like they do on D-line. They could do. They want 8, 9 guys to play. They might play 10. Have a couple guys that they think they may redshirt. Those guys may get in. They may get in, and they may be able to get to play. And that's a great thing for them.
Let's hear from the head coach, Brent Brennan, about Rayshawn Luke's decision to redshirt.
I know you got to talk to him. We talked about it. This is a decision that he and his family made, and so we respect it. And he's going to be a great teammate and a great scout team player, and he's going to help us prepare every week. He's a great kid, and he's doing great in school, and so we respect it.
How do you look at the running back room and just the guys that you have available right now?
Yeah, well, I think we're all really excited about, Quali and Ked and what they brought to the table so far. And then I think this gives a chance for, maybe Big Red to do some stuff, or even, Brandon Johnson. So still feel really good about that room. Obviously, we've been hit by some surprises this year, but it's next man up. It's it's an opportunity for someone else to get a chance to play and show us what they can do.
He mentioned Big Red. Obviously, that's Caden Luke, who got his first carry last year. Brandon Johnson, who was kind of the next guy down on that depth chart, who we haven't seen a lot. He obviously did not mention Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, who we anticipate is out again, and still no decision yet from the NCAA. But it was funny because when that happened, when it was announced that Speedy was going to redshirt, I thought, well, maybe that might mean that Ja'Cory, at least they believe, could be close to coming back. And then obviously you've got your top 3 again. And that might have made the decision more easy for Speedy in terms of what was to come in terms of the divvying up of carries in this running back room. But again, it's the decision that the young man has made after playing. Got injured the first season, got played all 13 games last season, but had been limited to 4 carries this year. So deciding now to step away, but like we mentioned, will continue to practice with the team and be a part of the program. All right, another interesting thing that happened after last week's game, it was revealed that some of the play calling duties in terms of the individual plays had been handed off to the tight ends coach and passing game coordinator Matt Atkins. Dino Babers talked a little bit about that this week.
That came about in the job hiring process. When Brent called me down and said he wanted me to come down here and coordinate the offense, he felt like he had some guys that were capable of doing it, and he wanted me to groom them and bring them along. And I've been in that room since, I can't remember my exact hire date, January or February. But there's no doubt that, Matthew's been doing the best job. And it was going to be something that we were going to lean that way and turn him over to. And he accelerated his growth when I first met him. And it was just a matter of time of when we were going to do it. And we really felt like the bye week might have been the best time to do it.
So what does this change for your role besides the specific calling of plays during games?
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. The way we do things is kind of collaborative anyway. We really know what play is going to be called. They've been practiced. We really don't go off script very much. We're kind of off the Bill Walsh tree where we, script a certain amount, I won't say the exact number, but a certain amount of plays for the first half. We will change that up in the second half. But really, we kind of know what's going to be called. You just may not know the order in which it's going to be called, which is the duty of the play caller.
All right, before we dive into that, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We have the Arizona Wildcats covered on game day like no one else. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the U of A Mall with Glenn Howe and Kelvin Ifan, I'm David Kelly getting you set for the Arizona Wildcats and the Texas Tech Red Raiders here tonight, 8 o'clock kickoff. We just heard from Dino Babers talking about the change in play calling duties that resulted prior to last week's games. And guys, however you want to spin this, whether you want to say it was something that was planned as they have presented this, if you believe that's the case, if you don't believe that's the case, if that's something that was done as the result of the fact that the offense was struggling, they've got to be very careful about how they maneuver this 4 games into the season.
I just my thought on that is that, you know what, I don't think it was a demotion because Dino wasn't doing the right thing, if the offense. I mean, it's something that I believe that maybe that when he says that scenario, I think that might have been the scenario. Mm-hmm. That he, Brent said that he got a veteran guy. He can come in here and he thinks a guy that he thought that could be a good play caller that has been working with him for years.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
And he said, you know what, he needs to get a little mentoring. And if he does, I think he could be a really good play caller. And I think that's a Dick Tomey thing, man.
Okay, then why don't you say that from the beginning? That's the issue that I have with it. Let's present if that's going to be the game plan, let's present that from the very beginning and say, look, Dino is our offensive coordinator. He is here to train our young guys to be the guy. And not just spring it on everyone 3 games into the season, 2 games after your offense looked like crap.
That's your reporter in you. That's the reporter in you, man. That's the reporter.
But let me say this.
That's your media guy.
Let me say this. Let me say this, though. Let me say this. No. Let me say this. When I initially heard it, I didn't believe it. I heard a little
we
early.
both didn't believe
I heard
it.
a little earlier before it came out that it happened, and I was like, why? 4 games in, it looks like, to the guys, maybe you're. I said this. I say maybe it could look like you're giving up on the offensive coordinator, so it makes guys feel uneasy because, man, if you're going to give up on him, it's going to be easy for you to give up on me as a player. So I was thinking, not in that aspect. But when I really went back and thought about it, I said, we're dealing with Dick Tomey guys, and I know him real well. And this is a move that he would make if he needed to or if he felt like it was something that he needed to do. And I'm not surprised Coach Babers is willing to, work it out because he's a Coach Tomey guy, selfless. You do what the team needs. Next guy up, and if this is what the team needs, fine. But I'll say this: now, did we have an explosive offensive explosion?
No, not at all. Saturday, not at all.
So
it was
how?
kind of
It was very Dick Tomey like.
Yeah.
Of type of game planning and the field goals and the type things like that. And I laughed about it because it seemed like everybody was so happy about the change. And I was like, did he score 60 points?
Yeah.
Was it 45 easy points? Did we get T-Mac a record? Because Coach Babers got him the record with the offense he was calling.
Right.
Yes.
But whatever.
Yeah.
I know he had some games too that got tough, for him or whatever. But all I'm saying is, did I see the score? Was it 23?
23.
Yeah.
It wasn't 53. It was 23.
It wasn't 50.
So was it a great
Yeah.
thing, or was it, it just everybody worked out, the tight end looked good? Maybe he got the tight end the ball a little bit more because he was the tight end coach and they have a relationship in that room, right? So I don't know, but I'm with these guys and I can't wait to see what he does tonight. But sometimes you jinx guys when you do this. You understand what I'm saying, DK and guys?
Yeah.
Because you're acting like, oh, we have this big change
Yeah.
in the media with this big change, and if he don't put up 40 points like you guys love to have, so you're going to want to change him before the season's out?
Yeah, and also, like Dick told me, he moved Dwayne Akina to the offensive side of the ball, and he was the offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
I mean, he was
that.
like, I'm trying to make you better so you can understand the other side of the ball.
Right.
I mean, those are the kind of things that you do. I mean, it's just, I think that it was just it wasn't like a no confidence in Dino. It was just like, hey, this is what we did. Yeah. And I don't think that he should have done that in the beginning and told everybody that. I thought it was great to bring him in here and tell him it's Dino Babers that's going to be doing this stuff. And I have no problem with him not telling us that.
And I'll say this, too. I know it's probably easy for Coach Brennan to go to Coach Babers and maybe tell him what he wants, but it's probably easier for him to go to Atkins. Right? Think about it. I mean, you got this veteran coach who's been a head coach for a lot of years and everything like that. It's probably easier to go tell Atkins, hey, don't run that, run this, than telling Coach Babers, a guy that he, respect and look up to somewhat because of his head coaching experience. Now, I don't have no insight on that, but just thinking of how things is sometime in the pecking order when you used to, calling him coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, in terms of the players, at least on the offensive line, it does not matter to them who is calling the plays.
We don't really pay attention to who's calling the plays. We get a play and we execute it to the best of our ability.
So it just felt like it was seamless then?
It was just like Baker said, that's not in our control. Whoever calls the plays, our job is to go out there and execute 100%.
All right, that was Josh Baker and Jonas Savinaya.
That's an alignment. That's all we know. What is the play? We make our calls and we execute. That's all you know. That's all you got to do. It ain't nobody else telling you, oh, man, that's a different play called in from Joe. That's going to be good. No, it's going to be the same thing.
All right, that's a look at your offensive scouting report for the Wildcats today.
That's the Wildcats Offensive Scouting Report. The Offensive Scouting Report is brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. O'Reilly Chevrolet, get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
All right, straight ahead, we're going to go in the huddle with Hal, brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Mike Freeman, Glenn's old teammate, will join us. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day, coming to you live from the U of A Mall. Before the Wildcats welcome in Texas Tech, along with Kelvin Efon and Glenn Howe. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Make Dave & Buster's a part of your weekly rituals. Military Monday, get extra gameplay on your card. Tuesday night is Trivia Night with great prizes. Thursday is extra credit with student discounts on gameplay after 9 p.m. Stop in Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for lunch specials. Want more? Rewards members will get an extra 100 chips with the purchase of 100 chips and Sunday sips for hospitality workers. Full and quick service restaurants, hotels, and amusement parks. Discounted beverages and apps after 9 p.m. only at Dave & Buster's.
Day in and day out, we're inundated with commercials asking to review your portfolio or telling you to get a second opinion. This is Natalie Fernandez with Meridian Wealth Management, and I want to share the advice I give people every day. Talk to 3 different advisors at 3 different firms. It's important to understand their differences and find someone you can trust. I want Meridian to be one of your 3, and then you will decide who is best for you. To learn more, call us at 719-1433 today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up?
We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Buick GMC, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Buick GMC, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Buick GMC, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Buick GMC in the Auto Mall and at RoyalTucson.com.
The Window Depot is more than a window store. The Window Depot is a one-stop warehouse with everything you need for your complete home remodel. Shop the aisles of pre-built cabinets in a variety of colors, granite and quartz countertops, sinks, skylights, and hardware to complete your project. Need a custom order? We can help. Our designers offer free design services and can special order everything you need for your kitchen or bathroom remodel today. Shop thewindowdepot.com or find a location near you. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Did you know collecting sports cards is one of the fastest growing hobbies around? Whether you're looking to start or expand your collection, Showtime Cards is your ultimate destination. As one of the leading card shops in the country, they've been serving our community for over 25 years with the best in sports cards and trading card games. From rare finds to the latest releases, Showtime Cards has it all. Check them out at ShowtimeCards.com or visit them today at 5801 East Speedway. And discover why collectors everywhere trust Showtime Cards for their passion.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 five-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
First Chiropractic offers military discounts to retired and disabled veterans, and they now accept patients with access insurance. For more information and to find the location nearest you, visit firstchiro.com, the most trusted name in chiropractic care.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A football continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the tight end Glenn Howell, and the captain, Kelvin Ifan. Let's go in the huddle with Arizona letterman Glenn Howell. In the huddle with Glenn Howell is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, with over 25 years serving Arizona.
Welcome into this week's edition of In the Huddle with Howell, presented by Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates. I'm U of A tight end Glenn Howell, class of 1985, and our guest today is Mike Freeman, my former teammate, the class of 1983. Mike, how you doing?
Hey, Glenn, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on.
No problem, Mike. Hey, Mike, I was just talking to a couple guys the other. When I posted that the thing on Facebook, and you copied Niels and all those other guys, and I was just telling a bunch of guys, text me and said that's great to have Mike on and everything, and they were talking about. And I told them, I said, man, we talked for about. I looked at my phone the other day. We talked for an hour and 15 minutes the other day. Do you know that? That was pretty funny.
I know. It's just like old times. Just like old times, and we pick it up right where we left off. And you start talking about U of A football and how these guys are doing, and I get all fired up about that. I know you do too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Mike, when you got here, you were in 1983. We had a great team, man. I mean, I looked at that team. It was such a good team. We had so many NFL players on there with you and Ricky Hundley, Lamont Hundley, Joe Drake, Randy Robbins, John Kaiser, Steve Bodway. You had Byron Nelson. You had, we just had Vance Johnson, Phil Freeman. I have to name all. I'm naming all of them, man. There was
the whole team right there.
The whole. The starting 22. There were so many players on that team. Tell me how you got. What's your story of you getting recruited? How did you get here?
Getting to the U of A. That's a good story. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but I went my freshman and sophomore year in high school. I was a Tucsonian. I played at Saguaro High School. And from there, after that, my father and my family, we moved to Orange County, California, where I enrolled in Fountain Valley High School and played some there, played football there and had and was recruited out of there, and but not so big, not all the big schools and everything. And then Arizona came in late.
And who were the other schools that were recruiting you?
Oh, yeah, I had pretty much committed to, I think, going to University of Pacific, or other schools were University of Nevada, Las Vegas, Cal State Fullerton. Schools like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And who was your recruiter? Who's the guy that recruited you?
Tony Yelovic. It was a group from. I was actually recruited not by Larry Smith's group. I was the last recruiting class out of Tony Mason's group.
Oh man, I didn't know that. I didn't know that you were a Tony Mason guy. That's going back a little bit. That was before. That was right before I got there. Because Larry was only been, I guess, the coach for like almost just 2 years, I think. I think he was only there 2 years when I got there, and then who was the offensive line coach there then?
Tony Yelovic was the offensive line coach my freshman year, and then of course Mike Berry and Keith Rowan. Were the coaches there for the majority of the time that I was at Arizona. But Tony Yelovic, the offensive line coach, recruited me and was my coach the first year. Very, very hard nosed on your technique and your head, hands, and feet and where you placed everything at times. And we had some. Of course, my freshman year, just getting in there, it was 3-a-days and hotter and you know what, and
say that again, Mike. 3-a-days.
Tough going my first year.
Say that again. 3-a-days. They don't even have 2-a-days now. They don't even. They cut that out, man. They only have one. They only have one practice a day now. Not even during camp.
Well, those 3-a-days. They'll make you tough.
Yeah,
I think that was half the purpose, was to get you hard as make you tough as a nail.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Mike, after you left here and you played at University of Arizona, you went. Were you drafted or were you a free agent?
No. I got a good story about that too. The night of the draft was over, and the draft ended about midnight, right? And so I didn't get drafted. I kind of knew. I didn't expect it. I thought I was going to play in the USFL at that time.
Yeah.
A lot of our players from previous teams have played there, and I thought, but anyway, so it's midnight, and I watch the draft, and then knock. I get a knock on the door, and Tampa Bay shows up and wants to talk to me about signing a contract, and then ring goes the phone, and the Dallas Cowboys are on the phone asking about a contract, and then so I'm sitting in here thinking I might have a negotiation going on.
You got a little something. They want me. They want me. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It didn't work out so perfectly that way, but Denver came in. I liked what they said. What got me the best with Denver is they kind of talked about playing and being a backup and walking right into their second string center had left and had retired and they need to replace them, and I honestly was just happy with making the team at that point. And, it was, I thought that would be the best way to do it.
And how was it? Was it more comfortable going into that training camp in '83 when you had all those guys from the U of A there?
Oh, good question. Absolutely. Marshawn was there, you know,
Marshawn.
And me and Marshawn were roommates on the road in college. So going and having him right there, that was very comfortable. You know, Randy and Chris were also there, you know,
Chris Brewer.
When you see, Chris Brewer, absolutely, our running back, number 32. And Randy Robbins was there, and Marshawn Graves had been a free agent just like I was, so we had short stories to share. As a matter of fact, me and Marshawn, that spring, you know, after our senior years in 1983, that spring of '84, we committed at U of A to Tucson at working out, and we both worked out. We ran stadiums, and everything. It was some intense workouts. Some of the hardest working out that I've ever done was to prepare for that rookie year at Denver.
Oh, that's awesome! And then Ricky was there also. Wasn't Ricky Huntley?
Yeah, Ricky. Was that? That was the next year. That was the next year. Ricky was a year behind me.
Did he sit out?
Yeah,
did he sit out the first year? The first year of NFL, because he got drafted by Cincinnati, I think, and then he came to Denver. So he came.
You know, I would have to ask Ricky to be sure, but I know he did not play for Cincinnati, and that's who drafted him number one.
Mm-hmm.
Cincinnati drafted him number one, and then I know Denver. Some of the guys that scouted me, and you know, were you know, the guys that had scouted me asked me about Ricky and stuff like that. So, you know, I knew that they were interested in him. That's for sure. And then all of a sudden, he was there within the week.
Yeah.
I don't recall the details though.
Yeah, and so, Mike, on that Denver team, you got to go to the Super Bowl. How was that going to the Super Bowl? Was it like how did it feel? Was it like, wow, I'm in the Super Bowl? Or was it like a regular game, like you go through the playoffs and everything, or were you just really, like, nervous?
The Super Bowl, I was, you know, hey, it's a big game. It's a big game. It's a game of your life, and it's something you go in there and you know, but you've been prepared for it. And once that first snap happens, it's just like any other game. You're trying just as hard as opposed to that last game as opposed to the Super Bowl. But you know, the tensions are high. Things are fast. I used to remember how remarkable that when you went from the regular season to the postseason, things just seemed to speed up front. You know, you couldn't mimic it in practice or anything like that. You get in that game, and then you better step it up because things are going fast, and you don't want to get behind that curve.
So the playoffs, you're saying, is that the game got a little bit. They just stepped it up. There, you know, it was just another level.
Intensity just stepped up to a different level. It's like, you know, it's pretty intense out there anyways, you know, and even, you know, at Division I college football, you're going from Division I to NFL, the intensity, the speed, everything just steps up, the strength of the players you're going against, their knowledge of the game. And then when you get to that high level of the Super Bowl, people want it so badly, you could feel that intensity just ramp up in those games, and it's quite, you know, it's quite something.
Our guest in the huddle is Mike Freeman. He is a former teammate of 1983 at the University of Arizona, and it's brought to you by Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates. Kaiser, serving Arizona for over 25 years. Mike, do you have any plays that in the Super Bowl that you remember that will just stay with you forever?
Yeah, well, you know, sure I do. I wish you know, unfortunately, I'm the kind of guy that can remember best the bad plays that I might have had, So I hate to go to that one, but I know on a good side, we scored the fastest touchdown in Super Bowl history. We threw a bomb on our first play, on our first series. I think it was the very first play, and we scored a touchdown. It was sweet. Dave Butts pushed me around a little bit on that play, but I kept in front of him and I did my job and everything. But on the other side of that, we had on probably the next series, we had gotten down to probably about the 7-yard line, I think, and we ran a quarterback draw with Elway, and we were known to run that play in that area. And I got pushed around, hey, we didn't get a touchdown. We got a field goal out instead.
Yeah, and as a lineman, you always know there's going to be a time, 1 or 2 plays in a game that you're going to get pushed around. And it no matter how good you are, I think there's sometimes that it's going to happen. That's why I tell players, I say, you know what, it's going to happen. You just got to learn from it. How are you going to learn from the bounce back from that play? Because it's humiliating for for a couple seconds, but then after that, you should be pissed off and say that's not going to happen no more.
Right. That's one of the most beautiful things about sports. Is that, hey, you made a mistake. Now you've got a chance to learn from that mistake and fix it, And I think that's one of the most beautiful lessons that you get out of sports is like, hey, just because you didn't win that time doesn't mean the game's over,
Absolutely. We're talking to Mike Freeman. He's our guest in the Huddle with Hal, brought to you by Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates. Kaiser, serving Arizona for over 25 years. Mike, so what is your favorite or what is your most memorable moment when you were at the University of Arizona?
There were so many memorable moments. I remember being at the USC game when we beat them in '82, okay, and then, being on there. And then the Notre Dame game over at Notre Dame, kicking the field goal. I was on the field goal team. I was on the field when we kicked that field goal and watched it go through the uprights right in front, touchdown Jesus. That's a memory I can't forget too easily. And then other things like I'm very proud of that we started this winning streak against ASU. When I think it went for quite a while. Was it a 5-game winning streak or something like that?
No, it went 9 years. We tied them 1 game, and then they didn't beat us for 9 years. I never lost either.
There you go.
So there was a great streak that you guys started. You guys started that in '82. So that was a great streak, and everybody remembers that. You know what I used to love about? Remember when we played in '93? We played at 83. We played 83, 84.
We played there.
Yeah, we played there at '83 when they had those pom poms, and they would go dun 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 dun. Hey, that's you. And it was like so loud in that stadium. I love it. And that's when they had like 72,000. And that place was just that's what I remember about that. That was the greatest thing. And then when Max kicked that field goal, it just silenced everybody. That game we were behind, and we had, special teams, Larry Smith, special teams, Bobby April, getting the special teams going. And we came back and won that game.
Yeah, I was just that was my senior year, and just so thankful for that big win against ASU. That was a big one.
So, Mike, what are you?
And
what
we
are you
had
doing
an
now?
up and down year too.
What are you doing now? What have you been doing?
I retired from teaching just a few years back, and I have kind of lived up to the retirement life, like to come out and travel as much as possible. And then I get out to, do some activities, play a little golf and stuff like that, take care of the house, do some chores around the house, make sure everything's picked up and everybody's happy.
So you're doing the retirement life. That's what you're doing right now. That's a good thing. You earned it. You teach. How many years were you a teacher?
I taught for 15 years now. After I did so many things after football. It took me a while to get back on track, but then I remember I was thinking about this. I started up an alarm company business with another ex-football player, Bobby Micho, over there in Denver, and we eventually sold that off. And then I moved on and moved to Phoenix, and then I started up another little business for about 8 or 10 years before selling that off. And so I got the coaching. I got the coaching bug, and one of the most rewarding things I did was coach at Mesa Community College up in Mesa, Arizona. Up there.
Yeah, you coached Ryan Turley, one of our guys. Big old offensive tackle. I'll never forget that.
Had the pleasure to coach a lot of guys just like Ryan Turley, very talented and athletic, and taught them a little bit about what I knew and passed it on. And we competed against some really good teams. Learned a lot about coaching. Learned a lot about teaching. Learned a lot about, to tell you the truth, learned a lot about the X's and O's of football. Besides just the offensive line, I used to be like, I knew exactly what I was doing, and the guy next to me was doing, and the guy over there was doing. And if I tell you the truth, the right tackle wanted to know what he was doing, I could tell them too.
Yep.
But as a coach, you got to know like what the right receivers are doing and what kind of coverage they're running. I mean, who?
Yeah, who ever know that? That was outside our box. That was outside our box.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, and literally. Well, Mike, you know what?
It was a learning experience.
Well, you know what? We want to thank you for coming on. We want to thank Mike Freeman, the football alumni. He's the class of 1983, for joining us today on This Week in the Huddle. Thanks a lot, Mike.
You're welcome.
Bear down.
That's In the Huddle with Howell. In the Huddle with Glenn Howell is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, with over 25 years serving Arizona. Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona football is just getting started. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 1 of the pregame show is brought to you by Desert Diamond Casinos, First Chiropractic, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Polson Results Team with Keller Williams, Southern Arizona, the Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. 6 model homes are now open to tour at Del Webb at Rockin' K. Here, life is about more than just beautiful homes. It's about the experiences waiting outside your front door at this new 55-plus active adult neighborhood. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit KaiserGarage.com to learn more.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 5-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE Eagle.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. There's a rumor summer could finally come to an end. And with cooler temperatures on the way, it's a good time to stop by any of the 14 area Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care locations for a free tire inspection and air pressure check. If it's time for any other seasonal maintenance, we've got you covered with the most award-winning service around. You'll see why Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the locals' favorite for tires and automotive repair. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, we're here to get you there.
Do you trust those in charge of your financial future? Trust is founded on 3 core principles: competence, honesty, and benevolence. Those making decisions about your financial future should always or visit meridianwealthllc.com to learn more today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Was your AC struggling to keep up this summer? We all know what happens to a car if it doesn't get a regular oil change. Your air conditioner is no different. Regular maintenance increases efficiency and reduces the chance of catastrophic failure. Take advantage of Rightway's $65 AC tune-up special. Our experts will perform a 42-point inspection, ensuring your AC runs like new. We'll even check for refrigerant leaks at no charge. Call Rightway at 520-549-1914 for your $65 AC tune-up.
Honey, our yard's full of
Hey,
weeds.
J-Dub, go ahead
It's
and
like a
say something
jungle and
real
the
quick.
neighbors
I'm
are
just testing
complaining.
some things on this
I'm
side.
trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work. Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
J-Dub.
And spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University
J-Dub.
Termite and Pest Control today.
Talk
We'll
to
get
me real
rid
quick.
of all of them.
Okay, honey.
Just say
thank
something.
you.
I just need to touch your
University
voice
Termite
on
and
this
Pest
end here real
Control,
quick.
locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
There are many reasons you might need Dorado Rockin' Materials. A few bare spots in the yard, the driveway needs filling in, or it could be that the yard needs a whole makeover. Whatever the reason, if your yard has the summertime blues, Dorado Rockin' Materials has everything from sand to boulders and every rock and pebble in between. If you need help spreading it, we have options for that too. Call 400-4233. Dorado Rockin' Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Touchdown, Arizona, Gunnar Maldonado. Noah straight back to throw. Got him in. Hot! Touchdown, Arizona. He's sacked by Jacob Manu. And it's picked off. Trayton Stukes. Nobody close to Tetaroa McMillan.
Let's go. Air down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A football continues. The Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're getting closer to kickoff for today's Arizona football game. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
And welcome back out here to the mall, the U of A mall. David Kelly along with Glenn Howe and Kelvin Efon getting you set for the Wildcats and the Red Raiders. With kickoff coming up at 8 o'clock, folks are arriving here. I see some guy over there. He's got his Texas Longhorns shirt on. We got an upset brewing in college football right now. The number one team in the nation after their big win last week to get to number one is in trouble in the SEC today.
Get beaten up by the smart boys.
Oh, my goodness.
Vandy.
Vanderbilt. That might be, if Vanderbilt pulls this win off today, that might be the biggest win in the history of their program. I think they had a pretty big win when James Franklin was there. I don't remember who it was they beat. That kind of catapulted him into getting
Penn
that
State.
job at Penn State. But right now, with 2 minutes to go, Vanderbilt leading number one Alabama 40-35. That is on your Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers scoreboard. We'll have much more of the scores coming up for you a little bit later in this second hour of the show. But first and foremost, let's dive in to what's happening with the Arizona Wildcats defense.
Let's look at the Wildcats defensive scouting report for today's game.
Back to throw. He gets hit. He fumbles the ball. The Cats with the ball. They pick it up. They'll take over at midfield.
Today's defensive scouting report is brought to you by Rockin' K. Rockin' K, Tucson's premier master plan community. This is Arizona football on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Rolling to the right, looking to throw on the run, fires downfield, and it's picked off. Arizona with the interception, and they'll take over. No picks through the first 6 games, and 2 today. Tacario Davis with the interception. Arizona football. Here's the snap, looking to throw the ball into the end zone. Knocked away, incomplete. Takario Davis with a tremendous play on the tight end, and that was Caleb Lohner, who was the intended receiver. Takario just waited and slapped the ball away, and for the second time tonight, the Wildcats turn the Utes away on 4th down. Here comes the rush. He gets away. He throws. It's knocked away, incomplete. Takario Davis does it again, and the Cats take over the football.
That's a big-time stop by Arizona. Takario Davis, again, one of the best corners in the country, showing why people think that of him. Beautiful man-to-man coverage that time.
All right, that was Takario Davis. What a performance. Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week. 7 tackles last week, 5 pass breakups, 2 of those which came on 4th down. One of those 4th downs coming in the end zone. He was also named the Jim Thorpe Award Defensive Player of the Week. Some pretty big accolades for a pretty big performance last week by a guy that came into this season with a whole lot of expectations laid upon him nationally.
We're going to need another one tonight because they're going to be throwing the ball all over the yard.
Stack them up.
It's going to be like flag football tonight. I'm telling you. They're going to be throwing the ball all over the place, so we need him tonight. You got to have a great game tonight. They got some great receivers. And it's going to be a game that he's going to get tested. And I think the next 7 games, we got 7 games left. 7 games are going to be tested. They're going to be tested, man. They're really going to be tested.
One of the, obviously, the gentleman that coaches the cornerbacks on this roster is Chip Viney. He is a new coach here. In fact, he's a former teammate in high school with U of A legend Robert Golden, who just came by a few minutes ago. Is he the honorary captain tonight?
Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. He's I got a chance to see him. He was wearing his famed #1 jersey that he wore here during his years. He was I call him one of my originals because he was on the team when I first got to town here back in 2008. This is my 17th season covering Arizona football. But Chip Viney, on the performance, had a chance to ask him a few questions about the performance of Takario Davis in that game last Saturday night.
You know, we have a very, very, very high standard in our room. Expectations are high all the time. Obviously, you know, congratulate him on the accolades and things of that nature, but always looking for, you know, ways to improve and get better. But I always tell my guys there's plays that, you know, routine plays that you're supposed to make, and we expect you to make them. I'm just proud of the way that he responded, given some of the early adversity, as some would say, or, you know, as some people expressed. But just the way he battled back, right? Playing that position like that, you got to battle, and it's not always going to be pretty, but he battled back, and we're very, very proud of, you know, what he put out by the end of it.
What do you want to see from him in terms of how to be better in between the 20s and maybe not give up as many, you know, passes as he did in that particular game?
I wouldn't say it's necessarily, you know, something that we don't want him to do as much as we want him to be, you know, part of that 11 when he's out there and getting involved in the game any way that he can, right? There's going to be games when you get targeted a lot, and then there will be games where you won't. But find other ways to, you know, get involved in the game. If it's just covering your guy and you get no targets all game, we're good with that, right? Or if it's playing over a tight end and fitting the run on a 230-pound back, right? And he'll tell you he came here to play defensive back, not just cover corner, and so that's what's expected of him.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was talking about, the fact we saw him, you know, not only guarding wide receivers, but he was guarding tight ends. Yeah. In that ball game as well. Got to have a short memory if you are a cornerback living out there on the island.
Oh, always. Those guys are the ones that are the most positive guys and the most cockiest guys on our team. We had some DBs that were real cocky. I mean, the corners are all they were yapping at the mouth. You know, they get beat. They say, "Oh, the next one." I mean, that was the way it was. I think you have to be that way. You have to how would I say, a very positive attitude about yourself, because sometimes you just fall down. Sometimes you just fall down, man. I mean, it's just, and you gotta get back up.
And a lot of it, again, we got to remember, you have Coach Akina, man, and he's one of the best DB coaches in the world, man. And I just believe under his tutelage, these guys are developing. This is when you saw Tacario develop last year, and now you're seeing him after going through a little friction there with being a little over aggressive. But I always say I wouldn't mind a guy being over aggressive. I can calm him down a little bit, and it seems like he's calmed down and got settled in.
Well, we were wondering why there were a number of guys who had been in the starting lineup that we had not seen in that game last week in Salt Lake City, and we found out later there were a number of injuries that the Wildcats were dealing with, and one of those was cornerback Marquise Groves-Killebrew, who did not play last Saturday night due to what we later learned was a thigh injury. So Emmanuel Carnley got his first start as an Arizona Wildcat. And needless to say, there were some butterflies for Manny.
I had the jitters for sure. I think anybody would, especially going into a big game like that against the number 10 team in the nation. I had the jitters, but I know I was prepared for it. I trust my coaches and I trust my teammates each day during the week.
Tacario, did you talk to him at all to try to calm him down, or did you try to hype him up? How did you?
I just told him it's football. You've been playing it for too long to be nervous and be scared. It's just go out there and have fun and be yourself.
4 tackles and 2 pass breakups. Not bad for Emmanuel Carnley. Chip Viney on the advice that he gave Manny before his first start.
It's your time. You're up. Let's go. We believe in you. This is what we've been training for. This is what I've been telling you since I got here. Just because you're not the guy on paper or you're not the guy when the ball rolls out there first doesn't mean you can't prepare and you can't be ready. The one thing I can tell you from playing and coaching this game is your number's going to get called. And Emmanuel's number got called, and he was ready, and he answered the call. I thought he went out and he gave us his all. The one thing I told him, night of the game, take a deep breath, man, and enjoy it. They're going to make some plays, but so are you. Just keep fighting, keep battling, and we got your back. So really proud of him, the way he showed up to play Saturday.
Another 6'3", 184-pounder, redshirt freshman out of Antioch, California. That's Northern California. Got to like that performance that he gave in his first start.
Yeah, he has the measurables, but a lot of times this is where you get a chance to know about the assistant coaches and their ability to develop. Because the starters, you can kind of say, hey, those guys are already ready to go. But when you get those second and third string guys stepping up, that means that these guys are really getting coached in the classroom and on the field and getting prepared to play.
Yeah, there can't be a drop from first to second that much. It can't be that much. And then when we have oars here, the oars mean that they're just as good as the other one. So let's go. So you got a bunch of oars here. There's an oar, and that's what good coaching does. You create a lot of oars.
All right, we'll see if Emmanuel Carnley likely to get his second consecutive start. Marquise Groves-Killebrew questionable for tonight's game here against Texas Tech. And that is a look at your Arizona defense for tonight's game.
And that's a look at the Wildcats' defensive scouting report for today's game.
Back to throw. Here comes the rush again. He's sacked by Jacob Manu.
Today's defensive scouting report is brought to you by Rocking K. Rocking K, Tucson's premier master plan community. This is Arizona football on Wildcats Radio 1290. Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show, brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Doing things the right way.
All right, we'll have your scoreboard coming up next. We have an upset in the top 10 today. We'll go inside the captain's corner. Quarterback Mark Lunsford, former assistant coach as well, will join us. And of course, our best bets on this one. Glenn Howe is out to a 2-game lead on Kelvin and I so far this season. He took the Wildcats and the points last week in Salt Lake City to open up his advantage. 63.5 is the over-under tonight. Will you take the over will you take the under? Texas Tech is a team that comes in here with the ability to light up the scoreboard. Could we see a lot of points here tonight in Tucson? It's Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day coming to you live from the U of A Mall. Stop on by. I've got some tickets for tonight's ball game. If you don't have yours, come on by. I've got 2 pairs that I'll give away coming up maybe at the bottom of the, we'll say maybe around 5:30. Around 5:30, I'll give these tickets away here, but you got to know your stuff because we don't just give away tickets. You got to know a little bit about Arizona football history. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona football is getting you closer to kickoff. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 2 of the pregame show is brought to you by Dave & Buster's Tucson, Dorado Rock, Goodfellas AC, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson, Recon Auto Detail, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rocking KA Master Plan Community designed by nature, University Termite and Pest Control, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Buick GMC, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Buick GMC, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Buick GMC, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Buick GMC, in the Auto Mall and at RoyalTucson.com.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 5-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Did we lose the signal, or are we still there, J-Dub? Oh, boy. I don't know if we lost it or not.
Did you know collecting sports cards is one of the fastest growing hobbies around? Whether you're looking to start or expand your collection, Showtime Cards is your ultimate destination. As one of the leading card shops in the country, they've been serving our community for over 25 years with the best in sports cards and trading card games. From rare finds to the latest releases, Showtime Cards has it all. Check them out at ShowtimeCards.com or visit them today at 5801 East Speedway. And discover why collectors everywhere trust Showtime Cards for their passion.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
In a state of disrepair.
My drains are clogged again. What should I do? Don't let those clogged drains scare you. Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing has a $79 drain and faucet diagnostic service special. We'll get you back in the flow. Call us at 520-492-0748 or picturoxcooling.com.
JT Auto, where customers are family. Trust your vehicle to JT Auto professional and reliable automotive repair and maintenance services. JT Auto is conveniently located off Fort Lowell and Country Club. Open Monday through Friday. JT Auto is a full-service auto shop with satisfaction guaranteed, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where customers are family. 623-7066. That's 623-7066.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
For over 30 years, Tucson has been putting its trust in First Chiropractic for auto and on-the-job injuries. They're locally owned and a proud sponsor of the U of A radio broadcasts. So if you've been injured, make the right choice first.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A football continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the tight end Glenn Howell, and the captain, Kelvin Ifan. Let's take a look at what's happening today around the rest of the country. The college football scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers.
All right, last night game in the Big 12 Conference. How about Houston getting their first win in conference play? The Cougars go on the road to Texas Christian, and they knock off TCU 30-19. One other final today in the Big 12. West Virginia goes on the road and beats Oklahoma State 38-14. The Cowboys are 0-3 in conference play, and you know that things are probably coming unglued in Stillwater, Oklahoma right now. Other games on the docket, one game in progress. Baylor is on the road at number 16, Iowa State. That was one of the games on our BetQL five-star plays today. Take Iowa State minus 11 in that one. No score early. Also coming up, Central Florida plays out of conference against Florida in the SEC. UCF is 3-1 coming off their loss to Colorado last week at home. Kansas State out here in the desert, up in Tempe. They'll take on Arizona State. That's a 5 o'clock kickoff coming up here in about 5 minutes at Mountain America Stadium. 3-1 is Arizona State. Kansas, a surprising 1-4 with 2 losses already in the Big 12. And, of course, later on it'll be Texas Tech here at Arizona with kickoff coming up at 8 o'clock. The Red Raiders have a pair of wins so far in conference play. Finals in the top 25. We'll give you the first two that came yesterday. Number 6 Oregon knocks off Michigan State in Big Ten action 31-10. The number 6 Ducks are 5-0 on the season. Syracuse goes to Las Vegas and beats the Rebels, who were ranked 25th in the rankings, I believe, for the first time in program history. And it didn't last long as the Rebels lose at home to the Orange, 44-41 in overtime. Elsewhere today, the big upset on the board just came in. Number 1, Alabama, shocked on the road in Nashville. Vanderbilt beats the Tide 40-35. And, of course, they stormed the field after the ball game was over. Cedric Alexander ran for a pair of touchdowns for the Commodores. Randon Fontenette had a pick 6 in the ball game. You turn the ball over on the road, and you risk getting upset, which happened to the Tide today, guys. That's a shocker.
That's a heck of a shocker. I'll tell you what, after they beat Georgia,
it's called a letdown game.
Yeah.
It's called when you underestimate. You just had Georgia, and now you go into Vandy. We always beat them.
Yeah.
You know, our second string, our third string can beat them. And you get in a fist fight, and you don't fight in the beginning, and all of a sudden, then you build up the confidence of that other team, and things start going the other way.
Yeah.
First win ever for Vanderbilt over a AP number 1 team in the country.
Great.
Other finals today on the top 25 scoreboard. Number 3 Ohio State over Iowa 35-7. 5th-ranked Georgia beats Auburn 31-13. Number 12 Ole Miss bounced back from their loss to Kentucky. They go on the road to South Carolina and win 27-3. How about number 23 Indiana 6-0 as they go up to Chicago and knock off Northwestern today 41-24. Number 7 Penn State beats UCLA in Happy Valley 27-11. The Bruins are 1-4 and winless in 3 games in the Big Ten this season.
Bruins are not looking good. I watched that game. I watched that game.
Another upset, although maybe not. Number 25 Texas A&M by 31 at home over number 9 Missouri, 41-10. As Texas A&M 3-0
they had
now
a
in the
13th
SEC.
man playing in that game.
And number 22 Louisville loses at home to Southern Methodist, 34-27. SMU now 5-1. Those are your finals on the board so far. Number of games in progress. No upsets looking right now. A little bit later, interesting game. Number 8 Miami on the road to California. How about game day today in Berkeley? The Bears showed out in fine fashion. I mean, and again, we can talk about how much we hate what has happened with this realignment in college football. But does game day go to Berkeley if they're just playing in the Pac-12 against, Oregon or UCLA or whoever? No. They went because it was their first ever ACC home game, and it was against a top 10 opponent, and it gave that school an opportunity to really show themselves on national TV.
Yeah, and my brother was bragging about, game day came to our place, because we're so good. No. I said, let's back that up. You hear that beep, beep, beep? Let's back that up. That's
right.
That's because Miami's 5-0, and Cal is, known for sometimes, beating a big-time team. They did with us when we were number 3 in the country. When we went up there and we tied them.
And the kid made the field goal for $100,000.
Yep.
That was cool to see as well today up at Strawberry Canyon. That's a 7:30 tip, national TV tonight, ESPN. Number 8 Miami at 5-0 against 3-1 California. That's your scoreboard look for right now.
The College Football Scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers.
JW Madden is piloting the plane today back at the Wildcats 1290 studios in the CNWT, Central Northwest Tucson. A little bit of a breeze out here tonight.
That's nice.
On the mall, keeping everybody cool on another 100-plus degree October day.
October.
Exactly. Nothing new there here in Arizona. Before we get to the comments of the head coach, let's pause for 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to the Arizona Game Day pregame show, brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. You're listening to the flagship of Arizona Wildcats Athletics. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
And it's time for DK with BB, sponsored by nobody. All right, this week, the head coach, Brent Brennan, talked about the outstanding performance last week defensively by one Tacario Davis. And, of course, my big thing about last week's game was loved everything that Tacario did in terms of the red zone and knocking down balls. Didn't necessarily like the number of plays he gave up in space in that ball game to Dorian Singer, who had, 175 yards receiving, I believe it was. So Brent Brennan talked a little bit about that this week.
In order to make those plays, we also need incredible push up front, and the front seven was fantastic. I thought our D-line was just excellent. But it's great to see Tacario smiling and having fun. I think he really cut it loose and enjoyed the moment. He responded to the big stage and the big crowd the way you would expect him to. And as a lifetime receiver, player, coach, the space I've always operated in, the number one thing you don't like dealing with as a wideout or someone that's coaching them is length. I'm just telling you, like that was when I was game planning, that's the number one thing I was looking for was length and how we were going to negotiate that. Just because it's, especially with some of our receivers are bigger body guys. And so you like to use those big body guys against smaller people. Right, it's harder for those smaller corners to work around somebody like T-Mac because he's 6'4.5" and 215 pounds, right? But with Bobo, he's got such length that length becomes a problem. He can take vertical speed off you, and then he can get his hands on footballs a lot of other guys can't.
Just to kind of follow on that, Brent, in the totality of Tacario's performance, obviously he had the big plays in the end zone, knocking balls down on fourth down. He did give up some plays in space to Dorian. How do you grade those plays in the totality of his performance?
I think when you're going against the type of caliber people that we're going to go against week in and week out, I think you're going to have guys are going to make plays. And I think the challenge for any great corner is how do you respond to the play that was made, right? I mean, it's any great player, but it's at that corner position where you're out there, you're so naked, right? Like the whole world sees those matchups so clearly. And so those corners have to be like a pitcher that just gave up a home run because they got to line up the next play, right? And I thought Bobo did a great job answering that time and time again, as did the rest of our secondary. I thought Manny played a great game.
Brent, in terms of the defensive line, one of the things we talked about the last couple of weeks was the contain issue. But last week it seemed some of the changes you made were at the defensive tackle position. How did those changes correlate to the way you guys wanted to be better up front?
I think there's two separate questions there. I think really the contain issue was more focused on guys doing their job and doing exactly what they're asked to do and not trying to make a play by like diving inside and making an inside move when they're supposed to be a contained player. I think that's the biggest part of it. In terms of the rotation, that stuff happens by some guys getting beat up, some guys being available, not being available, and so you got to get creative with where you put people. And so that's what Coach Sayamalo and Coach Aquina and Coach Gonzalez have been doing is they're talking about how we're going to play defense up front.
And what do you see on tape, Brent, when you look at Taj Brooks and what he's able to do with the workload that they give him?
The guy's a total stud. You know what I mean? He's big body. He runs hard. They give it to him a lot. A lot of what they do is hard because it's in tempo. You know what I mean? And so, they get you running and then they hit you with, some sort of run play that's with a really good player. So they do a great job of utilizing him and giving him options to make plays for them.
All right, that is the head coach, Brent Brennan. DK with BB, sponsored by Nobody. And once again, he alluded to some of the potential things that we talked about in the postgame show last week. Some people we did not see. Chuba May did not play in that ball game, so that looks like that might have been an injury situation as well. And we talked earlier in the ball game about Marquise Groves Killebrew. Chuba obviously questionable again for tonight, so you could see some of the same things with Stanley To'ofo down there. He got 30 snaps. Isaiah Johnson, 31 snaps. They did not necessarily rotate as much, I think, as we saw. We did see Kevon Darton in there for about 20 snaps. Lance Kennelly did play, but only played 13 snaps on the defensive end. So I wonder now, guys, if they're starting to maybe find the guys they really want in there, and now they're, after kind of going through a little bit of a larger rotation through those first three games, they're starting to tighten up those counts on that.
Yeah, I think they warned him once. They warned him twice. And if you do it again, you ain't playing. Right. That's what it is. That's it. You give them once, you give them twice, and then we had the luxury of doing that because we had so many guys. So it's, and that's the pressure of college football at this level, is that you have a chance to play. You better take advantage of that situation. You have to, because there's another guy that's just as good as you. That's the way it is. And we have to be able to, we got our water boy.
I heard that the seats were
Look at that.
Appreciate you. All right.
Thanks. That's the way it is in college football right now. There's so many guys that are playing that they need to have that opportunity. And when you have that opportunity, and it may only be one time, you got to show out, man.
All right, that's we'll wrap up our taking a look at Brent Brennan's press conference from earlier this week and some of the questions that we had for him. Straight ahead, we're going to go in the captain's corner. Going to be joined by the former quarterback, Mark Lunsford, from 1977. It is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day, coming to you live from the U of A Mall, along with Kelvin Ifan, Glenn Howell. My name is David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
JT Auto, where customers are family. Trust your vehicle to JT Auto, professional and reliable automotive repair and maintenance services. JT Auto is conveniently located off Fort Lowell and Country Club. Open Monday through Friday. JT Auto is a full-service auto shop with satisfaction guaranteed, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where customers are family. 623-7066. That's 623-7066.
Broadway in Tucson presents the new 2024-2025 season, featuring 6 blockbuster productions, including Mamma Mia and the Southern Arizona premieres of Clue, live on stage, Beetlejuice, Some Like It Hot, the Neil Diamond Musical, A Beautiful Noise, and Shucked. Secure your signature season tickets today and get the best seats at the best prices. Visit BroadwayInTucson.com and secure your 2024-2025 season tickets today.
Go Wildcats! As a new season starts, the Tucson Police Department bears down with the Tucson community. We are looking to build our team, and we need you. Interested in joining our starting lineup? Visit jointucsonpd.org. Join our team and score a great career. From our commissioned officers to our professional staff, the Tucson Police Department proudly stands behind the Arizona Wildcats. Bear down and apply today at jointucsonpd.org.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats radio broadcast. 2 powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. coolwillies.com.
Hi, this is Tim Couch, retired NFL quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, partner at Meridian Wealth Management, and proud member of Meridian's Tucson Advisory Business Council. It's my favorite time of year, college football season. I've always been a proud Wildcat. As our firm has grown in Tucson with Ruben and Natalie Fernandez, I now cheer on 2 Wildcats every year. My alma mater of Kentucky, of course, and our U of A Cats. Here's to a great football season, and go Cats.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Did you know collecting sports cards is one of the fastest growing hobbies around? Whether you're looking to start or expand your collection, Showtime Cards is your ultimate destination. As one of the leading card shops in the country, they've been serving our community for over 25 years with the best in sports cards and trading card games. From rare finds to the latest releases, Showtime Cards has it all. Check them out at ShowtimeCards.com or visit them today at 5801 East Speedway. And discover why collectors everywhere trust Showtime Cards for their passion.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. There's a rumor summer could finally come to an end. And with cooler temperatures on the way, it's a good time to stop by any of the 14 area Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care locations for a free tire inspection and air pressure check. If it's time for any other seasonal maintenance, we've got you covered with the most award-winning service around. You'll see why Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the locals' favorite for tires and automotive repair. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, we're here to get you there.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A football continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the tight end Glenn Howell, and the captain, Kelvin Ifan. Gather up, Wildcats fans. It's time to hear from our captain. It's time for our pregame speech. Captain's Corner is brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto. And now, here is the captain, Kelvin Ifan.
Welcome into this week's edition of the Captain's Corner, presented by Jack Farrier Tire and Auto. I'm Kelvin Efun. Our guest today is Mark Lunsford, quarterback from the class of 1977 here at the U of A, and my former coach. Coach Lunsford, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Kelvin. How about you?
Man, I'm doing.
What's up, Coach Luns?
What up, good Hal?
What's happening?
Like a reunion, man.
Yes, sir. Well, Coach, man, first thing we always like to do is we always like to ask guys, how did you get recruited here, and how did you get recruited here to the U of A, and why did you choose the U of A?
I got recruited here from Bloomington, Indiana. I really liked what Jim Young was selling. And to be honest with you, I've been to Indiana in the wintertime. You've never seen the sun shine a single day. And I got here and it was 80 degrees. We were horseback riding, swimming pool. And I said, heck, this is the place I want to go to.
Yes, sir. So that was, did y'all understand?
I couldn't hear him very well.
Yeah. Coach, speak up
just
a
little bit. In the background.
Yeah, Coach, speak up just a little bit if you could.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
There you
go.
Okay,
Coach. The reason I came to Arizona is I really like the coaching staff, and I love the atmosphere, and couldn't have been happier with my choice.
Yes, sir. Oh, no, definitely. So the atmosphere even back then was something that you wanted to be a part of, and I know you said again the weather was better than what it was in Indiana as well, right?
The weather was a whole lot better, Calvin. I went from being on a plane where it was 0 degrees to getting out here and it was 80 degrees. I didn't want to go home.
Yes, sir. So you played in the WAC when you was here, Coach, right?
We're in the Western Athletic Conference, sir. And we're playing one of our biggest rivals because Arizona and Texas Tech had a lot of knockdown, drag-out fist fights.
So tell me something from one of those games that you remember that was exciting. Tell us a little bit about it, because again, we didn't get to play none of the Texas teams when I was here at Arizona, and I wanted to play against them because me being a Dallas guy. So tell me a little bit about that rivalry right there.
I just think good rivalries with an opponent that you play regularly builds up a little bit of dislike for each other. And, have nothing but great respect for the football in Texas, and that's why you're here. And just a lot of really great games, Kelvin. I can't really think of just one in particular after all the hundreds of games I've been involved in. I just know every game after the game there was a long stint in the ice tub on Sunday because you were pretty beat up from the physical nature of the game.
Real physical game. So, Coach, tell me, when did you start coaching here? Because Glenn told me you coached him when he was here, and I'm like, I didn't know that. When did you start coaching here, and why did you end up staying here in coaching?
Yeah, when I went after my senior year, I went back to Indiana and reunited with Coach Young at Purdue, and was assistant quarterback coach, and in the season of 79, Larry Smith became the head coach back here at Arizona, and he had been here for 3 of my 4 years, and he offered me a full-time position to come back and coach the wide receivers. I couldn't get back here fast enough.
So you couldn't wait to get back here. So, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, Coach, this is Glenn Howe. Hey, I just remember – Coach, man, it was really great having you as a coach there. You were just really an integral part of that staff. And, you look back at that staff there, there was some people that went on from there, and then you stayed with Coach Tomey. And Coach Smith, talk us a little bit about Coach Smith, how you felt about Coach Smith.
I knew Coach Smith from his association here with Jim Young. The whole staff my freshman year had all been at Michigan under both Tim Beckler. That was my second choice, and just the approach into the game, and the family, just the family atmosphere, and what they told you when they recruited you, they backed up. And what I remember from Larry Smith's coaching is just the great intensity and just fiery atmosphere he brought to the game, and he lit a fire under everybody's what.
Yep. Hal, what do you know?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, Coach Tomey, on the other hand, God bless his soul, and Larry, they couldn't have been opposites. They showed up in flip-flops and shorts and Hawaiian shirts and stuff, and we're all thinking, holy cow, this guy been on the islands a long time, because he couldn't have been more opposite of Coach Smith. But they both loved their players, Calvin and Glenn. They were special men, and all the men that they had on their coaching staff.
About some recruiting stories and tell me some of the names of the people you recruited here. I almost thought about it, and I said, tell me who you didn't recruit here, because everybody that comes on says that you closed the deal and you was the guy that recruited. I'm talking about from JUCO, I was playing basketball in Texas, and Coach Lunsford came down to Seagoville High with the boots on. He came down. I know about them boots, Coach. Right? And so, Coach, tell us a little. Can you hear me, Coach?
I do. I don't got those boots no more, Calvin.
So, Coach, tell us about, man, how did you become such a great recruiter, and how did you get all these guys, man? I mean, and tell some. Wait a minute. Let me start with this. Tell the people some of the guys' names that you helped secure in recruiting here.
Well, I'm talking to two of them, Glenn Howe and Kelvin Efon. My first recruit I ever signed was a young man named Eugene Hardy.
The Riddler.
And Glenn will remember this. We were at Bobby McGee's having dinner.
Exactly.
And the waiter, Eugene asked for some mustard. And so the waiter brought a bottle of mustard, and he accidentally squeezed it, and all this stuff squeezed out of the bottle. It was all over Eugene's shirt. And it turned out it was just like sewing stuff, sewing yarn. We all just cracked up. But there's so many. Obviously, Brewski's my claim to fame, I guess. And I was in on Chuck Cecil, Danny Loggett, Ruben Rodriguez, Mata Ailey, Mike Parker, Reggie Jackson, Mario Hampton is one of my favorites. The John Kaiser, Glenn Jones, I don't know, just
who's who.
I enjoyed recruiting.
Yes.
When I was young and energetic, and Jay Dobbins was one of my recruits.
Yep.
Just connected, but I think by all of our staff here, that's why Larry is successful here. Dick is successful here. We had a great mix of young and old coaches, and everybody knew their role and knew what to do. And like I said, it's just an honor to have been on both those staffs.
Yeah, Coach. I always tell people, and I'm going off script a little here, but I always tell people that one of the things that I was amazed by you guys was about how y'all found guys from every different walk of life, man. Y'all found football players, basketball players. I mean, guys that guys from everywhere, man. How did what did y'all come up with that strategy? I mean, Samoan guys, y'all brought guys from everywhere all together and just like a big melting pot, man. What did y'all come up with that strategy?
Well, I think Dick is coming up the most, the easiest, okay? Dick used to tell all the coaches that you can be the best, coach, but if you can't recruit, we're not going to be very good. So we worked on recruiting. We talked about recruiting. We had strategies, but I think just identifying the diamonds in the rough. Because if you say, coaches, if you go to home and USC and UCLA in there, and Washington's in there, these guys are 5-star, say thank you, God bless you, and good luck. We ain't going to get those guys. And we had to identify the guys that were Brewskis and Cecil and Howes and Kelvin Epons and all those guys, that wanted to be coached hard and loved to play and were good people, and I think they accomplished that pretty damn well.
Yes, sir. So, Coach, tell me, what do you remember about our 12-1 team? Because I consider it. I think you probably know way better than me. What were some of the better teams in the school history? They always throw that around, and I always, I have to pick the 12-1. The '98 season there. Where we finished ranking at, and tell me a little bit about that team, and what did you think about that team in the build up? Because I thought that 7-5 season that we had the year before when we won the Insight.com bowl game and worked real hard to win those last few games to get to there. I thought that game catapulted us into that great 12-1 season. What tell me a little bit about that season and the guys.
I think after that, just as you said, Calvin, after that 7-5 season, everybody kind of had an edge, and they're not real happy with what transpired. And we had a lot of seniors that are seniors to be, and when you got leaders like Teddy Brewski and Rob Waldrop and Kelvin Epon and Chris McAllister and all those guys, it just clicked. It just clicked. The locker room was, people talk culture out there all the time. I think you would say our culture that year was killer, and just everything fell into place. And we stayed healthy. We all our linemen, we played. I can't remember hardly anybody getting hurt that.
Right.
And that's critical. Just people don't understand, and I think, people don't think, they think, bowl games, they're all good. And there's a lot of hard work goes into bowl games. You get an extra spring practice, you get to coach the guys for 15, 20 more times, and then you've got all those guys back the next year, and it just all fell into place.
Mark Lunsford is our guest in the Captain's Corner, brought to you by Jack Ferrier Tire and Auto. Jack Ferrier since 1960. We're here to get you there. Coach, so tell me a little bit about what you think about this current team and what. Well, hold on. Let me go here. What do you think about this coaching staff? You know these guys. A lot of these guys worked with you on the 12-1 squad, and I think Coach Brad was a grad assistant at the time. What do you think about all these guys getting a job, as they say, Tommy guys?
I love it. We went for a long period of time where it felt like some of the coaches that were here, I don't know whether they were insecure about what had been done before, or we weren't probably as welcome around the program as we are. Coach Brennan is a coach, told me disciple from San Jose State, and Coach Tomey and Dwayne Aquina and Coach Tomey and Dino Babers. Man, those guys go back 50, 60 years.
Right.
Dino played for Coach Tomey, and Dwayne was in Hawaii while he was growing up, and then he ended up at the University of Washington, and they're just really good coaches. I think with the way things went down and the transfer portal and everything, it's taken them a little while for things to maybe hook up a little bit and start looking like it did last Saturday. That's the best we've played this year, and that's our score right now. So, can we get better from last Saturday, or go do the same, or get worse, one of those three items are going to happen. So tomorrow morning we're going to be either really happy or we're going to be wondering how we're doing. And I think it's a good game for us to continue to build and get better. And I'm hoping for the best tonight.
Well, Coach, I enjoyed having you on. It was great talking to you today, man. I mean, again, man, appreciate everything you done for me back in the day when I first got back into football, coming out of basketball for a couple of years. I hadn't played, and you were patient with me, taught me the offense, man, and just incorporated me into this program, Coach. I really appreciate you. Our thanks to Arizona's 1977 quarterback, Mark Lunsford, for joining us this week in the Captain's Corner.
Coach Luns, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Coach.
Love you,
man. Love you.
Love you, Coach. Burn down.
Yeah.
And that's your Captain's Corner with Kelvin Efon. Captain's Corner is brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto. Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona football is getting you closer to kickoff. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 2 of the pregame show is brought to you by Dave & Buster's Tucson, Dorado Rock, Goodfellas AC, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson, Recon Auto Detail, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rocking KA Master Plan Community designed by nature, University Termite and Pest Control, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Hi, this is Peter Costa, former governor of the New York Stock Exchange and proud member of the Advisory Business Council with Meridian Wealth Management. One thing I've learned over 40 years on the floor is the value of a trusting relationship with your financial advisor. After all, everyone is a genius when the markets are going up, but when they drop, that's when the guidance of a professional is most important. For more information about Meridian, call 719-1433 or visit online at meridianwealthllc.com.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Are you facing plumbing problems and need a reliable solution? Whether it's a leaky faucet, a clogged drain, or an upgrade to a tankless water heater, Right Way has you covered. And for a limited time only, we're offering 10% off your next repair or installation. Don't let plumbing issues ruin your day. Call Right Way at 520-276-2775. We'll get a plumber to your door. If it's worth doing, do it the right way.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Visit Lennar's 2 communities in Rockin' K, with home savings up to $25,000 and limited time interest rate and closing cost incentives on select move-in ready homes. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas.